Hey everyone, it's Desiree and welcome. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I'm going to apologize for my voice because of the awesome warm weather. Allergies are just at an all-time high for me. Oh yes. Woohoo! Okay. Today I'm going to have another video showcasing one of the cards that I had shown in the reveal of the new stamps. And for today's card, we are going to use the Tangled Flourish. And we're going to focus on this piece right here. And we're going to kind of create a two-tone background just by stamping and embossing. So very simple technique. Again, use it with your stash. If you are interested in this stamp, I will have it linked down below. All right, so let's get started. I have all of my pieces here, and we are going to be stamping on two pieces of cardstock. One is a heavyweight craft by Recollections, and the other is the Bristol Vellum. And I'm going to be setting this in my stamp positioner, and I have set in there my waffle flower sticky mat. All right, so we're going to get the first piece in, and on this piece I'm going to be using my Altenew black. When I pull in my craft cardstock, I'm going to be using my Hero Arts white pigment. Now, my stamps look this way with the brown because I did use archival inks on them. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with this piece right here along the edge. We're going to make sure our piece is down. When I use when I use the black obsidian ink, I'm going to be using a clear embossing powder on top. And I'm going to make sure I have a really, really good impression of the stamp. And I think that is a good impression. So I'm going to pull in my clear. And I'm going to add this to this card panel, and I'm going to heat set it. So I will be right back once we are done with that. This way you don't have to hear that horrible sound. All right, so that first one is now heat set. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put the same panel down, and I'm going to put it down approximately in the same spot. I'm using the grid lines on my mat here, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now I'm just going to bring this up and make sure. Yeah, perfect. And we're going to do the same thing. So it's like that whole rinse and repeat. Just going to stamp it one more time. We're going to add our embossing powder. Now, I don't think that this is going to work, but I'm just going to see if I put this back in here, what does that do? Ooh, so close. All right. So now we're going to take this one out, and I'm going to replace it with the craft cardstock. I'm going to place that down. I'm going to grab one of my cloths, clean it as best as I can. And now we're going to add the white to the craft panel. Just going to get this clear cleaned up, or else, yeah, it'll be all over the place. Now, this ink pad here is the ink pad that I use when I take this directly to, you know, a stamp that's got all kinds of ink on it, or I've swiped it over some ink. I am going to use my anti-static powder. And we're just going to stamp that again. Whenever I use white embossing powder, I do like to use white pigment ink. Now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to turn it immediately and get this stamped. And I think it is time to replace that ink pad. Had that for a while. Okay. Here's our white. Same thing. We're going to add the powder, heat set, and we'll be right back. Okay, so here are our two panels already heat embossed. Now, just going to put the lid back on this. We are going to use those again, and I'm just going to clean this stamp set off. And now, I'm going to put this panel back in, but I'm just going to turn it. We're going to put it in the same spot. Now I'm going to pick up the stamp and say, okay, how do we want this to look? So that I can get most in the area of the stamp set. And I think I really like that. I'm gonna get a lot in there. We're gonna pick that up. And I am going to use my anti-static powder on this as well. And we're going to do both corners at the same time. Again, we're coming in with the black. And we're going to turn it. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get our clear. We're going to pour, cover, heat, and then we're going to do the same thing to our craft. And then I'm going to clean my stamp really well. There's our white and black one. And now we're just gonna real quick wipe this off. And then we'll do the same thing with our craft. Now the embossing powder, excuse me, that I'm using, it is a fine detailed white. For a lot of these designs, you know, there are fine lines being made. So you do want to try, if you have it in your stash, to use a fine detailed white embossing powder. If not, by using the white pigment ink, that'll hide some of the areas that maybe the regular embossing powder would miss. So here comes our white. And there's our craft and white one. I love the look of white on craft cardstock. I just think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to use the Simon Says Ultra Clean Spray. Just a couple spritzes. And then my stamp is nice nice and clean. And again, remember, I used archival inks on this, so it's going to keep that brown hue to that. I'm going to move this out of my way. I have to clean that off. I also use the stamp cleaner for this as well, to clean up any of the inks that I may get on my sticky mat as well. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start layering up my card base. I have a 5.5 by 5.5 inch craft card base, and I'm going to, I have a mat here that's 5.25 by 5.25. And I am going to adhere my craft panel that is cut 5 by 5. Awesome scratching sound for everyone. Onto this black panel. And then I'm going to get this adhered onto my card base, and I'm going to get this centered. Again, sorry for the scratchy sounds. So what's nice, what you can do with a lot of our stamps, whether it's this set or a set from your stash, we can use them as backgrounds. And that's pretty much what I've created here. You don't have to add any color. You don't have to add, whether it's alcohol markers or watercolors or colored pencils or chalks. You don't have to add those. You can just let it be the way that it should be. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take an oval, here, and I'm going to die cut the center of this out. Now I'm going to use some tape here to just get this taped in place. Now you could have this go horizontal or vertical. I do like the look of it on an angle. And we are going to run this through our die cutting machine. So I'm actually going, there's someone standing next to me so that they can do that. Arm is getting better, it's getting awesome, but I don't want to strain it. I'm listening to you all to take it easy. Die cutting is just the last step that I'm going to hold off on when it comes to, you know, being creative. Okay, so we'll be right back. Okay, so here's our piece. Now we can certainly, I mean, I will save this because I think this would be a great opening as well, because we got one down there, one up here. So maybe like on a 5x7 card, this would be a good centerpiece, because you all know me, I love my real estate. Now what I also have is we have die cutted a larger oval so that I can have a border that goes around this. And what I'm going to do is just place this on top and make it look like it's a continuation. So let me get this glued on top. And we'll get that centered. And I'm going to use some double-sided foam squares to prop this up. And then we'll get the release paper off. And there we go. So again, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to line this up with the pattern that's down onto our card base. And there we go. So now we have this 3D effect of all of the swirls coming in together. I think it gives a really neat and different look for your card. Now you can do this with an entire background stamp, or if you have a stamp set that's got like different types of images that of course they all go together, you could create your own background and do this. But I just think it adds a lot to the card. And again, this is going to be a great note card. So if I wanted to, I could stamp my sentiment inside, or just make this a note card to where I just write my note inside. Again, we don't always have to have a sentiment on the front. All right, remember that. We do not have to do that. But if you want to, by all means, have fun putting your sentiment on. I'm putting my case back together here. When it comes to this set, there are 3 sentiments available with this stamp set. And it says, just because, thinking of you, and dream. So I think they're great sentiments for a note card. And notice I say that in quotes. So I hope you enjoyed this technique. And again, it's the technique that I want you to really focus on. Use whatever you have in your stash. But again, if you are interested in the stamp sets, they are listed down below in the video description. If you have any questions, please make sure you leave those down below in the comments, and I will make sure I get back to you as soon as I can. I cannot say thank you enough to everybody that just continues to reach out and sending me happy thoughts and best wishes. I truly do appreciate it. The arm is getting better. And there was one person that said a chiropractor can do wonders, and now I believe that. So, yes, very much so. I think if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have gotten through this that quick. But I can't say enough to each and every one of you who have been sending them. For those of you that just stopped by to watch this video, hello, and welcome. And thank you for just stopping by. I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, make sure you ring the bell for notifications when the next video is going to be live. And for those of you that have subscribed or just subscribed, welcome. And again, thank you so much. I'm truly grateful for all of you and this community. And it'll always continue to be a safe community. Remember, enjoy the art that you create. Know that it is art that you create. I know I keep saying this, but I'm always going to say it at the end of each and every one of my videos. Enjoy the process. Don't compare. Just have fun creating your art. But again, guys, remember what's always and always has been most important to me. Always be creative each and every day in everything that you do. And I will be talking to you in the next video. Till then, take care.